Good morning, everybody. I'm André Joly. I am the General Manager of Simsoft Industry, a small company from the artificial intelligence domain, and I will try to explain to you how the CRM module from Odoo helped us to scale our commercial activities. Few words about the mission of my company. So we help field workers working with their hands to interact with their complex software, manufacturing execution systems, or computerized maintenance system software. You know some of them like SAP or IBM Maximo. Odoo can also be considered as one of them. And our mission is to make sure field workers can interact with their voice with such software. So the company is based in the south of France, in Toulouse, and we are today 20 plus people, all of them being experts in natural language processing, in artificial intelligence, and computer science. One of the characteristics of our company is that we work with the industrial domain. The industry is represented by some big players with very long sales cycles, and in return, we get very stable relationships with them. The issue for us is to make sure that we do not lose any opportunity, as it takes time in terms of sales cycle. We need to be very aware and very precise on what we do with any of our customers. Before talking about the CRM module of Odoo, I would like to plan my task in the timesheet report of Odoo. I will ask my voice assistant to make it for me. Speaks. Do I have a task name Odoo presentation?
No, I do not see any task with this name.
Okay. Please create it for October 7.
Task Odoo presentation created.
Thanks. And speak, start a timer of 20 minutes, please.
Timer started.
Thank you. Now that my job is properly recorded in Odoo, I can jump into the main topic. So the first point is to understand the need. What do we need? We need to leave Excel files, and we need to better control the numbers and the activities of the company. Excel is a very good tool to manage a very small activity, but as soon as we grow, it starts to be difficult. And it's also a problem because we do not really plan the numbers in Excel. We make the assessment of the numbers as they are, but it's difficult to generate plans. And that's what we need now in terms of to secure the sales, the pipe, the commercial pipe, and also to secure the turnover and the people that we will need in the future to respond to our customers' needs. The issue is that it's not only a question of changing the tool, it's also a question of changing the way people are going to work and the habits of the people in the company. So it needs to be handled with care. It's not only a question of software. So the first question that raised to our mind is, what do we need actually? Because it's not evident, it's not obvious, and how to structure our work to define what function we will need from a tool. Whatever tool we will use, they have functions, they have a given structure, and we need first to assess and to make sure that we start by the right point. And we thought at the beginning that it can be interesting to start by the CRM because it's the source of everything. I mean, if we manage to secure the commercial pipe, then the rest will follow. And the rest, of course, can be the project, the invoice, the sales, the timesheet, the contact, of course, that are at the source before the CRM. So this is what first we try to define on ourselves. The second question is related to the tool. There are many tools around the globe dealing with CRMs and ERPs and blah, 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 a lot of things. Most of the time, those software are controlled and integrated by a subcontractor. Are we able to specify what we need for a big software? Are we able to go to a subcontractor and say, okay, we want to use this software with this and that function, and you will configure it in this way? This is our main problem. As we never used any CRM, we don't know exactly what to do with it. So this means that we are not able to specify for a subcontractor what he will need to do to configure it for us. So we prefer to find a software that will give us an initial frame, an initial input of organization that we will be able then to customize depending on our habits. And hopefully we found Odoo. So Odoo CRM is able to drive our actions. That means to give us a first frame of work to organize our commercial activities. And then with the time, understanding what we can do with it, we were able to customize part of the CRM, customize part of the different fields, in order to better fit with what we need and with the specificities of our customers. This is why I said we are in a long trend commercial relationship with our customers, so we need to find a CRM that fits with these specific actions. So from having selected Odoo, we then try to prioritize a little bit what we need to do, because there are many modules in Odoo. It's very good. So we focused first on the CRM, of course, because the CRM is the source of for being able to secure the rest of the activities of the company, like the projects, like the invoicing, etc., etc. So we started by the CRM, which is the big module with the two hands here in the middle. And then, of course, the invoicing, the project, the sales, and the timesheet that are on the left came naturally into the loop. And we consider now to extend that to the marketing modules that are a little bit on the top, above the CRM. In terms of implementation, it's interesting because we are a relatively small company. We choose to have the online version of the CRM of Odoo and the other modules, and we choose also to configure it by ourselves without having a subcontractor, without having a third-party partner. It's a bet because it takes time, of course, but it's also a way to really understand what we want to do and how we do it. So it took us around 9 months to implement first the contact and the people in the company, then the CRM, which was the biggest part, of course, then the sales, the invoice, the project, and the timesheet. We are at this point now. And we will start next year, after this period of time, to work on the marketing modules to grow a little bit this part of activity in my company. So if I jump a little bit in the CRM process, we have divided the steps, the process in 4 steps that corresponds to our sales activities: detection, qualification, proposition, and negotiation. Detection and qualification are very early stages, and where there are no formal proposals made to the customer. And as soon as we go to proposal and negotiation being the last part, it means that a formal proposal was delivered to the customer. So it's very convenient for us, as it enables us to really drive what we do and the type of relation we have with our customers. And of course, it enables to secure the planification of the sales pipe. Second key factor of the CRM is the assignment to people. Every lead has a person assigned to it. Maybe it's obvious for you, but for us it's very convenient, because nowadays that we have people that work remotely, work from home office, etc. It's convenient to be very sure that this opportunity is assigned to this guy or this girl. And for each opportunity, a list of action is also associated with some delays, and we have a system of alerts and highlights when the actions are late on the list. If I jump into one specific opportunity, You can see some very standard elements of the pipeline, so the amount expected, the percentage of chances to win it, the point of contact, etc. Blah blah blah. But what is important for us is also to plan the work that will be needed for this to produce this opportunity for a specific customer. And therefore, we need to be able to anticipate the expenses related to this opportunity. So we have added some fields that you can see on the bottom left here, in order to be able to very early in the process verify the type of expenses that we plan for this opportunity, because this opportunity may happen in few months, but in few months we will need 2 more people to make it. So if we need 2 more people, we need to plan the hiring process in advance in order to be able not to suffer from getting a new business. So the big plus of Odoo, generally speaking, and why we have been able to do that, is that we have 2 things that are very interesting in Odoo, even the online version. The studio, that helps us to safely adapt any view, add reports, add fields, etc. that are safely stored in Odoo, even when the version changes. And also we can add at our own risk, we understand that, different computation code that enables to make verification. For example, in the verification of the different spreading of expenses, we make a simple sum of the results of all the fields. It's nothing, okay, it's very easy, but it's very useful to make sure that we control what we do and that we control the data we put into this CRM. Of course, it's not as easy. I told you, it's also a way of changing the way people work, the habits of the people. We are not alone. We have an accounting company, we have financial affairs, etc. So they are not all completely involved in Odoo. So as a transition, we still need to export some data in Excel. I know it's bad, but it's life. For the moment, I cannot manage all the activities of the company in Odoo. So especially in terms of invoicing and in terms of traceability of the timesheet of the people. So the benefits now, what have we gained after this period of implementation? The first benefit is that we better control the commercial action of the people in the company. It's very important because in a world where people are working from different places, in our activity where we have a very long sales cycle, it's not necessarily the first one who initiated the commercial contact that will close the deal. We need to be very careful on all the actions we do with every of our customers. So this is the first benefit. We now better control the commercial actions that we have with every customer. The second benefit is that we better control the numbers. A company survives thanks to the money that is in the bank. Okay, so for that we need to better control the pipeline, so to get confidence on what type of money will arrive in the company in the future. And we need also to control how quickly the money comes in the bank, so the invoicing activity. So the first one, the green one, is controlled by the CRM. The second one is controlled by the invoicing module of Odoo. Controlling the numbers enables us to make plans, to make projections. And this is what is really important for a company, a growing company like Simsoft Industry, to be able to plan the future. So also some lesson learned, because of course, again, in a small company, as I said, it's not only changing a tool, it's changing the mindset. So the management team, you have here Philippe Crespin, Lenny Tormel, and myself in the middle. The management team needs to be very highly involved in this change. Otherwise, the rest of the company will not follow. We are not in a world where people you ask them to do something, they do it without thinking about it. They need to see the management involved in this change and motivated by getting benefits from such change. Ah, I'm sorry. I think Spix tells me that my 20 minutes are over. Spix, can you record 20 minutes on the task Odoo presentation for October 7?
You cannot record 20 minutes, minimum half day.
Okay, register half a day.
0.5 day registered on tax Odoo presentation today.
Okay, thanks. This makes a conclusion to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understand what does it mean to implement a CRM and other modules of Odoo in a small company like Simsoft Industry. I also hope you enjoyed the way to register my timesheet in Odoo with my voice assistant Spix, and maybe you will meet him sooner or later. I'm open to any questions. Please feel free and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the talks. Tonight I'm with André, who will reply to the question on the live chat. The first question could be, can you explain more about your product, your service, and who are your targets? I mean your customer.
Yes, thank you. So thank you for inviting me to this show. Simsoft Industry is a young company, so we are established since 8 years now, and we target mainly the industry and the workers, the field workers of the industry. We make the bet to provide them artificial intelligence solutions based on smart voice assistants to help them to access to the new digital world that they have to manage together with their daily tasks. So this is the challenge of the company, and we hope we will succeed, of course, and we are in a good trend for the moment.
I hope so. I guess you get some maybe some difficulties, to ask the users to change their way of working because they were working on the old way, and then you try to improve with your product. So my question is how is the acceptance of your software by your customer employees?
Mm. That's a good question. I suppose Odoo has the same issue with their own customers because
Exactly.
we are globally in the digitalization of the industry. You are on the management part, and we are at the shop floor part. But basically, we face the same issue in introducing an innovation in a given job and helping people to change the way they work. And you have to convince the boss and to convince the user. And the boss needs to understand that if the workers are more confident and more comfortable in their work and more comfortable in their digital relationships, so to say,
Yes.
they will work better, and mainly they will lose less time in low added value jobs, part of their jobs, and focus on what they have to do. That means focus on their expertise, on their manual expertise most of the time, and do their job. And the introduction of the voice in the shop floor in the industry changes the way people can see their work and see their added value to the company as they have more time focusing on their job and their expertise, and they lose less time in digital information or digital information access, etc. So
Okay.
that's the goal. And if the people realize the advantage they have, then they agree to talk to a machine, because at the end of the day they need to agree to talk to a machine, and it's not easy.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. And so I understand, but can you give me an example? Let's say, for example, I'm a consultant, and we all know that they have to timesheet, which take time. Okay, we agree with that. And also, they are not focused on the add value work they should do. So,
Mm,
can you give me an example how it could work if I am a consultant and I have
yes,
to
yes.
work with your software, please?
If you are a good consultant, then you use Odoo to manage your business. Okay. And for example, in Odoo, you have a timesheet report application that you can use. You can click on it, you can create tasks and click on the different days, etc. And what we say is that you can also do that by voice. So we have interface, for example, for an exercise, for a demonstration, so to say, we interfaced the module timesheet of Odoo in order to be able to fill the timesheets by voice. So with a voice assistant, you can ask your assistant, do I have a task related to this customer, for example? Yes, no. If no, please create it. It creates the task and then assign it to a given day and then fill the time with the time you want, half a day or an hour or whatever.
Okay.
So and this can be made. This is an illustration, if you want, a sample of what can be done by voice, interacting with very clever softwares like Odoo or any other software from the industry.
Okay, thanks. So, for example, if I need to timesheet, I can say, please, can you timesheet on the project number one to the task number two? And I
Yes,
can say that today I work for 2 hours on this project.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And of course, this is not the main usage of our software. Most of the time, it's used by people in charge of quality control in the industry, where they have a lot of measurements to do. Those measurements, they do them by hands with
Yes.
some tools, etc. And when they do the measurement, and then they need to go to a computer. So they turn around, they go to the computer, they type the number, etc. Or they write it on the paper, and then they go to the computer. So it introduces a lot of a source of errors and a source of mistakes. So we try to avoid that, enabling them to report all those measurements by voice. So they said, okay, I measure 2.5 millimeters on the um, on the shape of the car or whatever. And then the measurement can be within the tolerance or outside of tolerance. Then we have different scenarios to inform them, hey, take care, it's outside of tolerance. Do you want to confirm or do you want to make the measurement again, etc., etc. So it's a way to establish a dialogue with the user,
Hmm.
with the worker, to make sure to help him to make his job better and quicker.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so is it working with all the application of Odoo?
No, for the moment not. We try to investigate the production application of Odoo and the field service management application of Odoo, but for the moment we do not went too far with it because we need to find a customer interested by this type of application.
Exactly. Better to find the customer first. And
Yes.
for now, your product work with which application?
So we made a lot of work with IBM, IBM Maximo. You know IBM, it's a small company from the US. You know, maybe.
I think I know them.
So they provide enormous, very complex software. And it's so complex that the worker has a lot of difficulties using them. So we help the user, the worker, to better use this type of software.
Mhm.
Because this software, like IBM, is a very clever software, very good software, but it needs a lot of data to work. So if the worker is not able to provide data to the software, then the analysis later are not of good quality.
Okay.
We work also with Dassault System. It's a French company, a French editor. They have an MES, Apriso, which is a good one. And then different type of softwares that are used in the industry, like Salesforce or Infor or QDA, etc. that are standard of the market software used by workers in the industry.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the reply. Um, and how do you came with this idea to, to help people with a voice assistant?
It's a good question. Actually, we started the company in 2013, a long time ago. And if you remember, in 2011, there was a very special event. It's the first release of Siri from Apple.
I remember.
So 2011, 2 years after, we said to ourselves, there is something to do with this type of technology, and we understand it will play a major role in the public domain in our
Yes.
daily life. But we also understand that the industry is ever late introducing such technology. So we decided to make something for the industry and to bet on the willing of the industry to use this type of approach and to make their worker more efficient. And we also make the bet that the people in their daily life will start to use this type of technology at home or in their car or whatever, and then they will say to their employers, "Hey, why how come that I cannot use this type of technology at
Mm-hmm.
work? Because I use that at home and it's very good." So, of course, the industry introduces a lot of difficulties like the noise, like there is mainly no network in the industry, no connection, very few data to train a voice assistant, etc., etc. So that means that all those constraints disqualify Google, Siri, Alexa, and whatever, and the Batix from China, that are disqualified to really play a role at the shop floor in the industry,
Yes.
and therefore there is a room for us.
Yeah, of course. You did well. So you take something from B2C to B2B.
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect for this reply. Thank you. We have finished with the question from the Q&A. So I would like to thanks for the talks and also for the Q&A. Thank you. Bye bye.
No problem. Thank you. Bye bye.